You may not know, but everybody experiences loneliness, and it sucks because there are several topics that people would rather put aside than talk about. Especially when it comes to loneliness, it is one of those things that would be much better and much easier to battle and go through with people by your side, that know that you're going through, that are aware of your battles and challenges that you have in your life, especially with the pandemic that we live in right now. All the lockdowns happening, all the rules and restrictions falling on our shoulders, telling us what to do and what not to do, which is so much harder to socialize, which is one of the ways of actually preventing loneliness. And now inability to socialize can actually lead to thinking that you are alone. However, if you're watching this video, I want you to know that you're not alone who is dealing and struggling with loneliness. Fairly recently, Justin Bieber came out with a song, Lonely, sharing about his experiences in life and having moments when there's so many people that worship and adore you, but then you really don't have anyone to call and talk and anyone who would understand you. And then the other day I was watching Suits, and I made this stupid mistake of watching a new TV show that I absolutely love, which is Suits. And I was watching, and one of the episodes, Harvey Specter. If you didn't know Harvey Specter, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely have a man crush on that guy. He's such a stud. Anyways, he's such a good guy. He's such a good lawyer. He'll be an amazing dad. Anyways, it's not about him. However, he's this amazing dude, who's surrounded by people, that respect him, that love him, that adore him. And then he says to his guy, who he trains under him, his name is Mike, and he turns to him one day and he says, I know how it feels live in a house, surrounded by people, surrounded by your family, and still feel lonely. And then it hit me. You are not protected by anyone. You're not protected by your family, you're not protected by your wealth, you're not protected by your geographical location or your culture. And loneliness can chase you, hunt you down anywhere. So then let's start from the very beginning. When the baby is born in North American culture, or I don't know if it's a tradition or if it's a rule, but in North American culture, when the baby's born, you actually allow the baby to have skin-to-skin experience with his dad and with his mom. So Slavic experience, I'm not gonna lie, sucks. Out of 7 siblings in my family, I was the only one who actually had that skin-to-skin experience, not with my dad, unfortunately. When the kids are born, they're all taken in one room. Doctors actually, whatever they do, they inspect them, they look at them, they make sure that they're healthy. If they're healthy, they bring them back eventually to their parents to feed them. So you don't get that experience with your parents right away. You're not introduced to that connection with your parents right away. And then once you are introduced, you've been already connected to some weird doctor. Kidding, I love doctors. And then you turn into a little kid running around, and then, if you have older siblings, they'll probably tell you that you were found in a dustbin, or in a cabbage. Older siblings, they do it all the time. They'll tell you that you were found somewhere else and your parents just adopted you. Didn't it happen to you? You grow up and you turn into a teenager, and views on life can be very different from a teenager to a parent. And then when those views and those perspectives are not met, very often it can cause that disconnection that can eventually grow into loneliness. And you feel like, well, if as a baby you were not rejected by your parents, now as a teenager you are misunderstood and you're not accepted in the family for who you are. Unfortunately, it happens too often nowadays, and now in any culture. Around that stage, you move into young adults, and young adults are, the most targeted area for loneliness, because then in young adult years, you are looking to socialize, you're looking to connect with people, and then you notice Bob. And Bob has 5 friends, close friends that love him, that adore him. Wait a second, why am I not as good as Bob? It brings comparison in your life, and then you're like, wait a second, then Bob has better social skills than I do. Bob has a better looking Instagram feed than I do, and then it actually can, cause in your young adult years, it can actually cause, a misleading thought about yourself that you're not as good as someone else. However, when it comes to you and your personality, your self-development, there shouldn't be anyone who dictates you, what's your creativity is like, what your soul's like, what your spirituality is like. This is your own personal journey, and you should be able to become who you really are without people, judge you, and with people accepting you. So there are similar patterns that can be noticed, from babies, teenagers, and young adults, that can actually cause loneliness. And some of those patterns are actually when you feel rejected, when you feel like you're unable to socialize, and you feel like, you're a little bit awkward, and you're more awkward than Bob, and then Bob has more friends. But one thing that you may not know about Bob can actually also feel lonely. And then you're like, wait a second, so where is the line? It's not about people around you. Loneliness can actually be an indicator that you are ready for a next stage of self-development. And that next stage of self-development requires you to be by yourself, requires you to step away from the crowd and listen to your inner voice of who you really are, listen to your inner voice of where do you want to go in this life. Find your goals. What's your passion in life? Very often people are unable to listen, and hear their own voice because they're surrounded by so many voices around them. I talked to some of my friends that were willing to share, their experience battling with loneliness, and then I was like, hey guys, would you mind, providing me with some of the, pretend like you're writing a letter to the times when you were dealing, and struggling with loneliness the most, and then please, tell me what you would tell to yourself back in the day when it was the hardest. Do not isolate yourself in terms of find at least someone, at least one person that will be able to understand you and know that you are battling with loneliness, because you don't have to step into this battle on your own. There are people that will understand you because they're battling with the same thoughts, same ideas, same, challenges just as you. So then find someone who will be able to understand and hear you out and know that you're battling through this. Because when you feel like loneliness is knocking on the door of your heart, there are only two ways to go. One way is going to be you're going to isolate yourself, you're going to sit back home, you're going to hide from people, and that eventually will lead you to even more, feeling loneliness, and then it will feed you dark thoughts, it'll give you dark thoughts that will eventually lead you into depression. Or on the other side, the other way that you can choose is actually, no, I'm gonna tell my friends that I'm feeling this way, and maybe there will be someone who will understand me, which I'm 100% giving you 100% guarantee that people will understand you, because everybody struggles with loneliness at times. The second point would be more practical. It actually involves traveling. Unfortunately, right now you can't really travel that far from your house, In Canada, we're a little bit more loose into that, so I think you're still allowed to go to a waterfall, you're still allowed to go to, on the way to a waterfall, lake, a mountain, you can stop by, pick up, donuts, pick up coffee, whatever you love, and invite someone on this journey with you. If you want to go by yourself, you can totally do it, but make sure that you will also provide people with opportunities to join you on trips. Practical step like this will actually allow you to to have a different perspective that will not be trapped in the four walls that you spend the most of the time in. So traveling actually expands, your views, it expands your perspectives on things, and then you feel free to, invite people on that journey with you. My third point would be, hey, just focus on yourself. Seriously, make sure that you know what you want in life. Make sure that your visions and dreams and goals are clear to yourself. And challenge yourself. Pretend like your crush is asking you, hey, what's your dreams and visions and goals? What are you passionate about? Because I'm not gonna lie, people without passion are not as fun to talk to, and that's okay, because they're still trying to figure out their passion. Point number 4 is practical as well, because it leads us to sport, which means physical activity, because some of the consequences from loneliness can actually be physical exhaustion. You can start gaining weight, you can start losing weight. It can lead to many different, consequences that will reflect on your physical being, on your physical state. Physical activity will actually help your mind to focus on the right things. So my point number 5 when you battle with loneliness will be to actually, this is going to be very interesting, but to put your fear aside that it's too late to start something new. Because to be honest, it's never too late to start something new. That new passion, that new vision, that new goal can actually give you a little bit, more, fuel for your life, and being able to achieve that will actually give you, a certain place where you want to get. Put aside fear that, okay, well, I should have started like a long time ago. Now I'm just gonna be behind all these guys. Don't compare yourself, because it's totally fine. Everybody starts somewhere. We all started, from one follower on Instagram. We all started from, being born and taking first steps. We all start somewhere, so it's never too late to start something new. I can't believe that I'm gonna say point number 6 in order to battle with loneliness, because I already feel judged. Whoever's gonna hear that and they know me, I already feel judged, and that's okay, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Point number 6 in battling with loneliness: read. I said it. Read. Seriously. Start reading, literature, books. Start reading, journals or magazines. And I'm not talking about reading the backside of your favorite beans brand. I'm talking about actually reading books. Shout out to my friend Alex Alfaro, I hope I pronounced your last name right, for allowing me to use this Christian counseling book, which is the thickest book I've ever held in my entire life, which I already said in one of the assignments that I had to do on this book. So start reading, start educating yourself, start expanding your mind, because that will allow you to find vision, perspective, your point of view on life. Enjoy reading. Point number 7 is actually my favorite point. It is practical, it is strong, it is beautiful. Are you ready to hear this? Remember that you are special. Understanding that you are special will allow you to battle those, moments when you feel like comparison is coming up your throat, and you want to just start comparing, or I don't know if it's even saying in English, but anyways, you know the analogy, you know what I'm talking about. When you feel like comparison is hitting you and you're like, holy smokes, Bob is still so much better than me. No, there is no such a thing, because you are special, you are unique. And come on, don't lie to me. You know that this is true. There are people that get inspired by you on Instagram. There are people that get inspired by your style on street. There are people that get inspired by conversations with you. Don't fool yourself. You are special, you are unique, and there is no such a thing as you're better or worse, because you are unique. That's the definition of my 7 point. Let's help one another. We are not in this alone. When you are battling with loneliness, remember that there are so many people around you that go through the same. And one of the most important things to remember is actually encouragement. Encouraging one another can actually, downsize the numbers of people that struggle with loneliness, and allow that, loneliness overcome them and plant fears in their hearts. So let's encourage one another. You're not in this alone. Remember, under the video in description below, I'll put my phone number, I'll put my Instagram. Reach out to me. You don't have to follow me, you can just DM me. I'm not going to expose you. Let's talk, let's encourage one another, and remember, you're special, you're loved, and you're accepted.